Hello, Leo. Please don't kill me. This is your January midterm, mid-month reading. So, yeah, I've been very busy the early part of this month. This is our regular reading. There are going to be 10 cards. The first 9 cards will be the main reading, and then there will be a 10th card for the outcome card. So, as we look at the cards, I know that everyone, if you go to CVS, you know that the Valentine's Day cards and presents and all of that, they've been up since Christmas. So this is always the time of the year when you're wondering what is the status of your relationship, or what might be going on with your crush, how do they feel, that type of thing. So I'm going to stop it right here so that I can look at the first 9 cards. Okay? So, Leo, I'm going to be looking at my notes, and this is going to be really quick. This won't take more than 12 minutes. This new format, I'm just going to cut right to the chase. The first thing I want to pay attention to is this star card in the middle of your reading. Now, the star is about optimism and hope. And that's a good energy to have. It's also a major arcana card. And by the way, I just want to point out that you've got let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 major arcana cards. So big changes for you, big shifts in the larger picture that you're probably not aware of. Also, in your future, you've got 2 9s, okay? 9 of Wands and 9 of Swords, the card of apprehension, preparing for a battle, and the card of drama. So, along with the World, which is always about closing a chapter, things might be coming to a head in your future. Also, you've got these 2 queens. They're both looking away from each other. Here in your past influences, you have a Queen of Cups. Okay? And let's see. You also have this Fool here and then this Emperor. Interestingly enough, the Fool and the Emperor both have wands in their hands. The Emperor has a scepter. But the Fool has a wand, and so this is interesting because you're a fire sign. Wands represent fire, and so you've got a lot of firepower here in your past. But just a reminder that when you hold up that one wand, it's about intent and creativity. It's about you being motivated, moving forward, creating your own destiny. And also, it's interesting how all 3 cards here with this Queen of Cups, they're all looking in the same direction. So, interesting. That's very interesting. Everyone's looking in the same direction. And I feel like they're looking in the same direction because I feel like it's saying something happened as far as someone breaking free, someone deciding I need some space. So everyone's looking in the same direction. Everyone's looking at the same thing. But what I find especially interesting, you do have a Queen of Cups. She's looking out. The Queen of Cups is usually an indicator of intuition, emotionally open up, being in love. But then it's followed by this Fool, and he's right behind her. So they're all following. If you look at this, it seems like they're all following each other. So after this emotional opening up, this emotional energy and being in love, then you have the Fool, and the Fool is about adventure and taking risks. But then it's followed by the Emperor, which is about keeping things under control, leadership, responsibilities. So keep in mind, it seems like there are two competing energies here as far as what you both want from the relationship. And I almost feel as if there was a situation where someone might have said to some of you Leos, I've got to go. And so you have an emperor who's like, wait a minute, stay put, be responsible. So free willing, doing what you want, taking a risk, flying by the seat of your pants, playing it by ear. But then you have the emperor who's like more controlled, who needs to know what the plans are, who needs to know as far as this relationship that the Queen of Cups is bringing into this spread. It seems like the emperor is trying to pull the fool back, like, wait a minute, not so fast. So there seem to be these competing energies in the direction of the relationship. Because the Fool has the wand, it could mean that you want it all right away. Okay, you don't want to be constrained. But at the same time, this energy of the Emperor is still pulling things back. It doesn't mean the relationship isn't going to go anywhere, but it also means that there's a little bit of conflict going on between you and your partner. Okay, when we get here to the middle spread, two more major arcana. So the Magician has his wand. So a lot of people with wands trying to manifest and make things happen. And I feel like that refers to you, Leo. I feel like your energy is at peak energy. It feels as if, as far as romance and relationships, as I said in your yearly reading, it feels as if you're ready to get things started and ready to move on. Leos are very extroverted. Lots of energy with Leos, very difficult to keep up. And so if you're dealing with someone more reserved, like with this Queen of Swords, the Queen of Swords is sort of like, she's considered the widow. She's learned a lot from her pain, but she's also very wise, very intelligent. Sometimes, especially with most swords in the tarot deck, this is about your inner mind, the way you're thinking, the way you're perceiving reality. So I'm getting a little bit of insight about what's making your love interest tick. And that is, your energy's all around this person and they're like, just hold on. I will let you know when I'm ready. That's what I'm picking up here. Lots of optimism for some of you, but once again, the Emperor's pulling things back, pulling your energy back. The Queen of Swords is like, I need a little bit more time to think. And it's also possible that some of you with your partners are not being very open. They're keeping their thoughts to themselves. They're being a little bit more secretive than you would like. And that's the case with most swords. You know, happy on the outside, but inside it's all a chess game. Okay? So when we head here to the future, 2 9s. And 9 can be the number of completion, and that's when I'm feeling things are coming to a head. And that's when we come to the World. Now the World, as I said, it's the last major arcana card. It's number 21. And then after the World, you start over again with the Fool. So I'm kind of intrigued with the fact that you have the Fool, which is 0. And then you have the World, which is the ending of the major arcana. Now the Fool doesn't really have a place. The Fool can float over all the numbers. 0 doesn't really have a value. So it's interesting to me to see this transition where the number 9, 9 of Wands, protecting yourself, learning your lessons. But then we have a little bit of drama here with the 9 of Swords. Anxiety, someone being an energy vampire. And it could be that the energy of your love interest is they're so tentative and fearful. They might be a control freak. Okay? And so when we get here to the world, it doesn't necessarily mean closure of a relationship, but it does, with those two nines, the Nine of Wands and the Nine of Swords, I'm definitely getting a shift to some closure, meaning some type of resolution with this push-pull that's been going on in the past and in the present influences. So the future, you're going to feel like, oh, I'm done with this, because you have your fire energy here, and then you have your partner with the drama, and then we have some closure and resolution with the world. Now, in the bigger picture, what does that mean? Well, guess what? I'm about to pull this outcome card. Okay? And so looking at my notes, you have the Hermit. And so it feels as if someone your partner is just going to pull back before the end of February. And I don't think it's a matter of just being discouraged and giving up. The notes I wrote vision of love. And I feel like this year, just like I said in the yearly reading, I feel like you are really going for it as far as your relationships, being with someone. You're tired of being alone. But it feels as if someone is such a control freak, and they can't let loose and they can't relax, that things sort of come to a standstill. And you're going to be just contemplating things and taking time apart. Now, whether that is going to be permanent, I'm not so sure. But I do feel that some of you might be emotionally attached to someone, where you two are just sort of at opposite ends in the relationship. And you both want to be in love. You both want to be in a relationship. But the pace between you two, you're going fast. This other person, they're pulling back because they're afraid of losing control. They're afraid of being hurt. That's the biggest impression that I'm getting from the swords here. And so just understand that if your love interest is pulling back, I don't think it's because they don't want to be with you. It's because they've got their own issues with being hurt and overthinking. And swords can be kind of introverted. So for some of you Leos, in the most general sense, for most of you Leos, it just seems like the pace is different in this love connection. And your partner or love interest, you know, they might feel that they're being pushed. But that Nine of Swords is telling me a lot about fears, a fear of being hurt, and just wanting to pull back. And so some phone conversations or texting like, I don't feel like going out tonight, can we just take a break? And it doesn't necessarily mean, especially for this Hermit, you can still be with someone and still feel this need to be alone and think about things, think things over. But I don't think you should see this as necessarily a bad thing. It just feels as if some of you are going to have to negotiate space and negotiate the boundaries of the relationship and negotiate the pace of the relationship. Okay, so that was your reading. As I said, February's coming up. I know some of you might be anxious about February 14th. But I would just say, just relax. What will be, will be. And I want to give a shout out as usual to all my subscribers, supporters, and clients. Thank you so much for your patience. I hope you're having a wonderful new year. So having said that, just a reminder, relationship energy readings, they're $10 until the end of January. So please make sure that if you're wondering about specifics about what's going on with you and your partner, invest in a relationship energy reading for February. Okay? So take care, and as always, I wish you love and light.